Hey guys, can you hear me? Check. Testing 1 2 1 2. Can y'all hear me? Awesome. There's my man Sam. What's up, dude? Hi, Kirsten. Hey, Amelia. Hey, Abby. All right, while y'all are signing on, here's your first assignment. Talk amongst yourselves, but send me some text messages because I won't reveal who sent them to me, but I'm going to read hopefully some really funny stories. I want to know what's the funniest or weirdest thing you've discovered about your family since you've been locked up together for a couple of weeks. You don't have to name names. Hey, Ashlyn, what's up? Yeah, send those stories to my phone, not on the thread, because I want to have a little bit of fun with those. Hopefully, you've got some funny stories. If you want to send me a story about yourself and blame another family member, that's fine too. Hey, Weston. All right, I'm getting some responses. This is awesome. Yep, already got some good responses. Keep sending me those way. Hey, y'all, I'm glad you're here. If you haven't seen it yet, send me via text message a funny story or something funny a family member does. You don't have to send me their name unless you just want to. I will read some of those to y'all, but I won't reveal who sent them. Although it might be funny to guess in some cases. Jack, glad you're here. Hey, McKenna. Hi, darling. Howdy, Miss Heather. Or Brighton, there you go. Hi, Hannah. What's up, Sydney? You retracted your message. There you go. Hey, Jacob. This is good. I've got parents sending me stories as well as students. So, parents, if you're listening in, by all means, shoot me some stories. Hey, Miss Peyton, we're glad you're here. I've even got a story about one of my kids. I'll probably have more than one story about my kids before it's all said and done. All right, here's your first one. Hi, I'm Mackenzie. Glad you're here. Here's your first one. This is good. We have all threatened each other to bury one another in the backyard when it's raining so that it's easier to dig the dirt. A mother said, "No one will notice if I bury you in the backyard for at least a couple of months because of quarantine." I'm not sure who actually sent me this one. I just have a phone number, so whoever sent me this one, tell me your name. But this person said, "My mom talks really, all capital letters, really loud on the phone." I now have that person's contact information. That's excellent. I like that story even more now. Awesome. Oh, that's sad. The family who wants to bury each other in the backyard got frozen and missed the story. So I'll repeat that again real fast just so they can hear it. A family member sent me a message that said we have threatened each other all week long to bury each other in the backyard, and we're going to do it while it's raining so it's easier to dig the dirt. Mom and that family said no one will notice if I bury you in the backyard because of the quarantine. I like that one a lot. My mom is taking homeschool teacher to a whole new level. Please save me. That's awesome. Somebody else said, I can't walk my dog for 2 minutes without trying to kill my brother. My family drinks too much tea, like we go through 2 gallons a day. That's actually pretty great. I want to come hang out with your family. I like tea. Someone else said, my brother is a big trickster and he plays a whole bunch of pranks. Now, that particular one, is that just all the time or is it purely today, April 1st, April Fool's Day? Which, by the way, I won't have any April Fool's stuff for y'all today. Sorry. You can, try one on me if you want to, but another person in a house recently told his family that he's been lying for quite some time about not being very good at building Legos. That was pretty funny. His mom caught him building Legos on his own, and he's frequently had his mom help him for a number of years. He said, "Yeah, I just tricked all y'all. That was good." Somebody else says, "I don't know what's going on in the rest of my house. I haven't left my room." Oh gosh. My brothers like to shout embarrassing things about me when I'm doing Zoom meetings. uh, I changed all of my sister's contacts to Harry Potter names for April Fools. That's that that takes a lot of dedication. Holy cow. Well played. Now I'm kind of curious which character I ended up with because I happen to know for a fact I'm in this particular person's cell phone. So if you want to tell me which Harry Potter character I am, that'd be pretty funny. Give it about 30, maybe 45 more seconds, guys. This is awesome. Y'all are doing great. Oh, Kat, I hadn't got to say hi to you yet. I'm glad you're here, girl. And everybody else that's listening at home, if you can't respond on the chat, you can always text me anything that we're doing today. I'll tell everyone. Oh, that's good to know. I am Hagrid in this particular person's Harry Potter cell phone now, so that's fun. I could have ended up with somebody much worse. So thanks for taking good care of me there. Hey Emily, happy April Fools. Yeah, if you want to shoot me a text message with your comment, that's awesome. And you can keep shooting me these stories too. These are great. Again, moms and dads, if you're listening in, I'm all for hearing some stories about your kids as well. Don't hesitate to send those our way. That's fun stuff. That's really fun stuff. Okay, let's do some announcements, and I'll keep if any more stories pop up, I'll keep filling you in. Okay. For starters, if you do not have my phone number, you need that. Certainly, if I'm asking you to send me stuff. So my phone number's up top. That's my cell phone number up top. The number below that is how to join the Remind. If you haven't done that yet, you need to, which I can only assume all of you have that already. If you're not, well, if you're here right now, you've already got that number. But just in case you have that, it's shoot a text to the number 81010 that says at, you have to be sure and put the at sign, at TLCUTH. And that'll get you in on whenever we do this, any of the stuff that I try to send you. I try to send y'all something at least once every day during the week. But we want to keep you all in the loop. So be sure and join the Remind. But you've also got Kate's phone number. She would love to get stories from you, funny text messages. One of the challenges I'm about to give you here in a moment, she'll want to see those for sure. And then same thing with Will too. So, and all of us too, keep those numbers in your phone too, because we're going to be contacting you throughout the week. We're trying to touch base with everyone just to check up on you. So if you got our numbers in your phone, it won't, be weird unless you have, our names as Harry Potter names, and you're going to wonder why. Well, I don't actually know that many Harry Potter characters. Sorry. So anyway, put our phone number. Sorry. Put our contact info in your phone if you don't have that already, and be waiting for our messages and reach out to us anytime you want to as well. So, okay, some new stuff, guys. This week, we are collecting stuff for Arlington Memorial Hospital. Last week, we took stuff to Cook's Children's Hospital. It was incredible the amount of stuff that we were able to give to that hospital. Every single nurse and doctor and staff member there got a snack, if not multiple snacks of some kind. And then gifts from our church, which was an awesome blessing. I say all that just to say we're doing the same thing this week for Arlington Memorial. We're going to deliver those tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening-ish. So 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon is the deadline to drop your stuff off. We're already organizing the stuff for delivery. But if you have any snacks or drinks or fruit, and it needs to be fruit that can either be washed or peeled, we would love to go take those to Arlington Memorial on your behalf. It's been a really, really cool ministry, and we're going to keep doing that. By the way, we've got another hospital lined up next week, and then the week after that too. Guys, it's really, really sad, but the hardest working people in our country right now, and I say right now, probably on a regular basis anyway. The hardest working people in our country are doctors and nurses. And so we want to genuinely bless those folks and help them as they're working so hard to take care of us. So if you can help out, that's awesome. Not only can you donate stuff, but if you would like to come work and help us organize that, and this is really important, guys, so hear me clearly. If your parents will allow you to come work, if you want to come and work for an hour and receive some of those materials, we'd love for you to do that. We make sure that you have gloves when you've got it on. Your interaction with people is honestly pretty minimal. People roll up and we get the stuff out of the back of their car and carry it in the building for them. So you're not, hugging or touching anybody. And again, you're wearing gloves. You don't need to wear a mask. Doctors have said don't wear a mask unless you're already sick. And so, but yeah, if you want to help, check in with me, and then I'll give you a time that you can come. And again, if your parents tell you nope, you can't do that, do not fight them on that, guys. Honor your parents. I want to honor your parents too. So this really is. If your parents will allow you to come work, that's awesome. What's up, Gabe? We're glad you're here, man. By the way, you as a family can come up and do this together too. So check in with me, and we'll give you a time slot, and that would be really, really great. But this is a cool ministry that God's given us. Not only are we taking food items, we're also taking cards that people have written. If you want to write a card to a doctor or a nurse, you can also bring those by. They love those. Those mean a lot to people. So yeah, so definitely jump in and take part in this one way or another. If nothing else, come in and drop off some stuff. I'm around a quarter of the time. If you let me know that you're coming, I will certainly be down there though whenever you drop off, because I miss you guys and I'm trying to find ways to see you without breaking a lot of rules. Okay, so anyway, there's that. Next thing. Some other ways for you to serve, as well as the hospital thing. We've been talking about that. Just so you know, guys, we are officially not doing drive-in church for the month of April. Tarrant County came out today and said, nope, we're all staying home for another month, which is really, really sad, because I was excited about that opportunity and I was excited to be together. I was excited to give y'all some opportunities to serve, but that's okay. We're still going to have that in our pocket. Hey, Jaden, we're glad you're here, man. And we will do that one of these Sundays. Just probably not in the month of April, but we're all the time paying attention to local governments and so on to see what they tell us. But in the meantime, we want you to keep being creative. We're going to keep being creative too, and finding ways that we can engage with one another. So we're going to keep giving you challenges. Not all of them are going to be Corona based, because that's going to get old talking about all the time. I know, yeah, drive-in church was going to be a lot of fun. We had some really, really fun ideas. Pastor preaching 30 feet up in the air. That alone was going to be really, really cool to see. Pastor Brandon was going to lead worship from up there. And that's funny only because Pastor Brandon is terribly afraid of heights. And so that was going to be awesome to watch him serve Jesus while simultaneously praying that he doesn't fall, because he's genuinely really, really scared of heights. But he was ready to do it for Jesus. Isn't that cool? So anyway, we're going to keep finding ways to be creative so we can hang out. What I want to tell you guys though is don't lose hope. And I don't mean don't lose like not all is lost, but I know that we continue to get hit with just lots of discouraging news. And I know that y'all keep getting faced with more and more disappointments of stuff that was supposed to happen that's not going to happen now, which I totally understand. I really, really do. There are things that are not happening that I'm really sad about. Hey, Maddie, glad you're here. I'm really sad at some of the stuff that I was excited to come watch y'all do that I can't do now. And so all that to say, don't lose hope, guys. I promise one of these days, this thing's going to clear up. I don't know that life's going to go back to normal. I suspect that in some ways life will never be the same, but not necessarily in bad ways. We're just going to discover new ways to do life better. And so be encouraged, continue to love on each other and trust those who are leading us, and ask lots and lots of good questions. Okay. Other stuff going on, guys, don't just sit at home. And again, I would love for you to come up here and serve if your family will let you, but find ways at the very, 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 very least just to serve in your house. Bless your parents, bless your siblings. And I know that that's hard, particularly when you want to bury them in the backyard or when you can't even go on a dog walk for 2 minutes without wanting to kill your little brother. I understand, I really do. And no little brother is not continuing to let him live. um, find ways to, at the very least, bless your family. But again, if your family will let you, find ways to bless your neighbors. Maybe you just surprise go and mow the lawn for your neighbors if they need it. If they keep up their lawn pretty well, don't do that. But yeah, cut weeds in the backyard. That's a great idea, Sam. Certainly take care of your own yard. But if you've got a neighbor that needs some yard work, and just go do it for them. And make it a surprise. Again, if your family will let you, do not fight your parents on these issues. But if your parents will let you uh, serve in some little ways, or if you guys can do that together, which is even better, if you can serve as a family in ways to bless your neighbors and those around you, man, do that. Fight the temptation just to spend all the time just kind of resting and relaxing and watching Netflix, because that's going to get old. I suspect some of you are already tired of that anyway. But as this continues on, it's going to get even more old. So find ways to serve. All right. It's going to be a big deal. All right. Now be honest with me. How many of you have done the living room workout yet that Becca and I sent y'all on Sunday? Has anybody done it? And maybe you didn't do the whole living room workout. Maybe you just did part of the living room workout. But did anybody do it? Data boy, Gabe. There you go. Gabe, you are Becca's favorite youth member. Congratulations, sir. That a girl, Cat. Weston's going to. Samuel hasn't yet. Amelia says, I didn't. That would mean I have to move. Emily has watched it. That counts. Well done, Maddie. You at least watched it. Good work. Everybody who watched it, I'm proud of you. That's something. That is something. Well, I tell you what, guys, I would love for you to do even a part of the living room workout. But here's the next part of that challenge. Those of you who did it or are going to do it, film a part of yourself doing the living room workout. Or maybe even if you have a different exercise that we didn't show you, um, film yourself doing that exercise and send it to me, because I really, really want to put together a video of you guys working out. And we'll show that off to Miss Katrina and some of Miss Becca's other fitness friends. They'll get a big kick out of that. But yeah, guys, shoot me some exercise you're doing. Shoot me your beast mode. There are some studs in this group. I know you are. So uh, tell me what you've been doing, what you can do. Get creative. If you are someone that has a bum leg, not that I would name any one person, but if there are some exercises that you can do, even with a hurt leg. um, Blaine, Kirsten, you guys are in the middle of rehab right now. Send us videos of you doing rehab work. That's really, really cool. But we want to put together a highlight reel of you doing the workout, and I think that'd be really, really great. All right. A video of yourself dying at the end. That's awesome. Yeah. So if you haven't done the living room workout, do it. You don't have to do the beast mode stuff, although I would love to see you do the beast mode stuff. If you haven't watched the workout, we'll send that to you again to give you some more ideas. But guys, not only do you need to be serving, but you need to be moving too. Even you, Amelia, it is important to be a little bit active. You will deeply, deeply regret the next month if you spend it just sitting on not doing a lot. So go out for walks. And yes, walks count as exercise, although please don't send me 15 videos of just y'all walking places. That's better than nothing for sure. But I want to walks are great. but do even a handful of things that we suggested and send us some videos of y'all doing different workouts. Okay, here, guys, I know I've shown you this before, but here's some ways for you to meet if you haven't been doing this, and watch for some of your connection group leaders are giving you these opportunities too. So meet up. Oh, that's awesome, Gabe. Yeah, send me a video of you biking. Just don't wreck in the process of you sending me video of you biking, okay? Um, use Zoom. Guys, Zoom is great and it's free for 40 minutes. So use Zoom, use FaceTime. A bunch of you have FaceTime. There's another new one that I'd never seen before, but those of you that have Androids, this app is called VC. Sam, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, I want to see you bike. That's great. Yeah, the VC app is one of the, not XC. That probably is not a good app. Don't download the XC, but the VC app is great. I was using that yesterday with a friend, and it's kind of the equivalent of FaceTime for Android users, at least one of. So Google Classrooms is one that we're playing with, or we're trying to play with, because we want to find ways to meet with y'all face to face. So with each other, but stay in contact with one another. And I'll tell you again, last week, even right now, everybody text somebody else just to say hi. Certainly if there's someone that's not online with us, just say, hey, we love you and we miss you, and let them know we're online. If they want to join us, that's great. And they don't even have to be part of the youth group. If they just want to jump on because they're curious, that's awesome. But keep each other and keep encouraging each other. That's going to be really, really important. Okay, guys, we're doing the 1 John challenge this week. And it really is just this week. So Monday through Friday, 1 John is 5 chapters. So you're reading a chapter a day. They're all pretty short. John, I'm going to talk about John more here in a minute. John's notorious for writing really, really short sentences. He was a fairly simple dude, but he loved and knew Jesus deeply. We're going to see a little bit of that. But read a chapter of 1 John every single day this week. And the next week, I'm pretty excited about this. We're going to do a church-wide daily devotion. Like everyone in our church is going to be doing the same devotions, which is going to be really, really cool. I told you that was going to happen. I thought it was going to happen this week, but next week and then all the weeks after that, we're going to be doing that, which is fun. So again, good job, y'all. We've been kind of leading the way for something cool for the youth group. I'm proud of y'all. Okay, if you didn't hear about this week's Corona Challenge, and this is going to be the last Corona-specific one, the Corona Challenge this week is I want you to write a song about COVID-19 or Corona. And actually, it doesn't even have to be about that. Just write a song, man. We want you to get creative, all right? It can be an original song with a brand new tune, or it can be a parody, which I've already had 3 entries so far, and all of them have been parodies, which is fantastic. I love parodies. I really, really do. So take a famous song take that tune, and then insert your own words. But make it funny. It doesn't have to be super long. If it's just, 5 or 6 lines, that's great. But record yourself and send that to me, whether you just send me the lyrics and then what tune it goes to. But you get bonus points if you perform it for me, if you dance to it. Now, if you're someone that can't dance right now, get someone to dance for you. You don't have to sing, no. Yeah, if you want to rap it, that's great. If you just want to read the lyrics to me, that's great. But again, bonus points for performing the song, all right? And then bonus points for dancing it. So all of you guys that are into TikTok, man, your day has arrived because you get to do this for real. And not only will people on TikTok like you, but your youth pastors are going to like you. And you've got the chance to win a prize. Luke won the prize last week. He ended up with a pretty great prize. I suspect he is still enjoying that prize. Several of y'all won prizes the week before. So, yeah, jump into the challenge. Friday at noon is the deadline. So, yep, there you go. Yeah, see, there's awesome. TikTok is kind of fun. But yeah, Friday at noon is the deadline. So shoot those to me. If you need to upload them to YouTube, that's fine. If you're having trouble getting it to me, just let me know that you're getting it to me and we'll figure that out together. I just need to know by noon on Friday. That's the deadline, all right? There's all our phone numbers again. If you don't have those, a couple of you weren't online when we said that earlier. There's my phone number. That's how you join the Remind, the 81010 at TLC Youth. And there's Kate's phone number and Will's phone number. Guys, again, even if you don't send us a message, save those in your phone. We want to connect with you. And we'll get a kick out of doing that. All right. I want to fight. Anybody want to fight? Some of you are threatening to bury each other in the backyard or kill each other. I'm assuming you're ready to fight. Anybody ready to fight a little bit? Sam doesn't want to fight. Kat wants to fight. Amelia wants to fight. Hannah says no. Jack's in. That's awesome. All right, we're going to fight a little bit. I'm going to throw a question up on the screen. Gabe's ready. Maddie's down. Sam can't fight. Emily says sure. That's exactly how Becca would respond, Emily. That's okay. Yeah. This is just going to be a verbal fight. All right. Here's your first question. Let's fight. What's the best topping that goes on a pizza? Fight it out. Tell me what's the best topping that goes on a pizza. If you pineapple, there's my girl right there. Pineapple's an awesome pizza topping. And if you're not on the chat feature, you can text this in. I'll read your answers too. Pineapple and Canadian bacon, Kirsten says. She's my best friend. We know what we're talking about. The Dickies are on team TJ. Ham and pineapple for the win all the way. Oh, Miss Natalie, for starters, says jalapenos on pizza. She just made me cry. Miss Natalie's also doing her own workouts. She's another person that could show us some pretty cool moves. So, Miss Natalie, if you want to teach us a thing or two, send that my way. We'll add that to the video. That's awesome. I got another pineapple. I'm loving all the pineapple pizza. All of my children would agree with you, cheese fans. By the way, Becca grew up calling cheese pizza naked pizza. And so sometimes you'll hear us say that. You guys, what kind of pizza do you want? We want naked pizza. We want cheese pizza. So tomato sauce is the best pizza topping. Well, I don't even think it counts as pizza if it doesn't have tomato sauce, does it? See, I don't even like pepperoni like excrement on my pizza. That just pepperoni hurts my stomach. So I just don't do pepperoni anymore. Got any other fun ones up here that I missed? Cheese, tomato sauce, sausage. All right, Jordan's the Lone Ranger there. I like that. Brighton says anything but pineapple. Wow. Okay. I agree. Miss Natalie says that pizza without tomato sauce is just cheese sticks. I think that's a very solid choice. I agree. No veggies. All right. Jesus didn't die on the cross for us to eat vegetables on our pizza. All right. No veggies on pizza. That's just bad. I don't think that's true, Emily. I wouldn't be crazy about something that was purely Canadian. That's also why I say specifically ham and pineapple, not Canadian bacon and pineapple. All right. We're going to fight some more. You ready? Next question. Is cereal a soup? Is cereal a soup? What do you think? I like where your head's at, Jackson. Oh, getting some solid, passionate responses for people on this. Breakfast soup. I like the breakfast soup response. That's good. The all caps argument team is in. That's excellent. Is cereal a soup? Oh, Maddie's throwing down. No, if you think that, you need to see a professional for some serious help. That's funny. Soup is savory. Cereal is not savory, David says. It's fair. Hey, Blaine, we're glad you're here, man. We're fighting right now. I need your help here. Do you think that cereal is a soup? Sweet breakfasty soup, Hannah says. That's awesome. Good. All right, Brooklyn has a whole argument for this. I'm going to let her spell her argument out for me, and I'll read it to you. This is great. Jackson says cereal is not a soup, it's just cereal. That's fair. Kirsten says she doesn't like crunchy soup, so no, soup is not a cereal. She said soup is soup. All right, here's Brooklyn's argument. You see, I have a whole argument set up. It is not soup. When you take out the milk, it's still cereal. If you take noodles out of chicken noodle soup, then they're just noodles. All right, I can kind of, yeah, I'm following your reasoning there. That's good. Cereal is its own type of food, Greenman says. Blaine says when it gets soggy, yes. Dessert soup. Now, see, I could get behind dessert soup. That's awesome. Soup is warm, cereal is cold, soup is savory, cereal is sweet, cereal is crunchy, soup is not, cereal is not soup. Well done, Weston. Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are taking this one so seriously. That's great. All right, we got to keep fighting. Here's one. I really like this question. I think it's pretty funny. Let's see what you think. This is a deeply thought out. You're going to need to do a little math here. How many chickens do you think it would take to kill an elephant? How many chickens would it take to kill an elephant? Amelia says one chicken, which Amelia owns chickens, so she would know. Ashlyn says one if they're smart enough. Sam says one. Wow, you guys have a lot of faith in a chicken, man. I won't say who sent this message, but this is funny. The response was one chicken can get it done if that chicken is like my mom. How do you get half a chicken? That's a great question. Although I buy half a chicken all the time at Walmart, so but that half a chicken's not actually no. A half a chicken could kill an elephant because if I poison that half a chicken and then feed that chicken to said elephant, then half a chicken wins. So that kind of works. Good job, Jordan. The one chicken feeds the elephant half of a dead poison chicken and it wins. Sydney says one. The chicken will die of natural causes, Hannah says. Jaden says one. An elephant-sized chicken. That's a great response. If the chicken is savage, David says 20 chickens. I like that thinking. Jacob's thinking this through. He says one because an elephant will step on it and slip. 32 if the elephant is like me, then it would give up imminently wanting to take in this experience. I kind of do need to see a chicken killing an elephant. I think that would make for a really great National Geographic video. I would watch that. McKenna says enough to surround the elephant until it starves. That's not bad. Jackson says 3 chickens can get the job done. Again, I think you guys are eminently more impressed and confident in chickens than I am. I'm not sure 100 chickens could get it done, but maybe. One chicken, a rocket launcher. I don't need to kill an elephant with a chicken, but if it were on TV, I would watch that. Emma Grace says 65,000 according to the internet. Well, if the great Google says 65,000, it can't be wrong because Google never lies. I agree, Emma Grace. Very good. All right, here's your next question. This is good. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Let's fight about this. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Whole lot of nopes, one sure. Oh, there's a yes. Okay. Maybe a camp sandwich. I like that response, Brighton. Very good. Weston's in on the sandwich. Cadence says no. Hi, sweetheart. I'm glad you're here watching. You don't put ketchup on a regular sandwich. Actually, I discovered this week that one of my children does put ketchup on a sandwich. It threw me for a loop, but that's a thing. Maddie's going for the professional help again. Oh, and this time you're detained in a mental facility. So this, Maddie, are you more offended by the idea of a hot dog being a sandwich? Or are you more offended by the idea of cereal being soup? This is important. Yep, we got another person that puts ketchup on everything. Good thinking, James. I like where your head's at. I don't use ketchup much, but I Kenzie's thinking it out. She says yes because it is meat in between two pieces of bread. That's good reasoning. James says that ketchup is the soup of the day for him. Jordan says a cylinder sandwich. That's good. Okay, they're equal in offensiveness, Maddie. I'm glad that you clarified that for me. That's good. Just know that Maddie is kind of like Gaston. She's ready to throw people into the loony bin at a moment's notice. So just heads up, guys. Jackson says, depends on how fast you eat it and where you came into the possession of this item, and it depends on how much sauce you have to put on this item, meaning it is both. So he thinks it's a hot dog and a sandwich. That's good. He's using a big brain. Very good. All right, last one. Oh, David says sandwich has bread on either side. Hot dog has sandwich on either side. Therefore, it is a sandwich. David's a mathematician too, guys, so it's hard to argue with that kind of reasoning. Jaden's using emojis to answer the question. That's fun. Well done. Hey, James. Now he's turning it around on us. James says the question is if a meatball sub is a hot dog. Very good. Okay, last question. This one should be fun. All you people that like me love movies, and all you people that love musicals, here you go. What movie would be better if it were a musical? What movie would be better if it were a musical instead? McKenna says a hot dog has bread on three sides, not two. That's really true, McKenna. Brighton says all movies. Becca says all movies. Star Wars the musical. That would be interesting. Avengers the musical. That would really, really be interesting. Maddie's in. Oh my gosh. Fast and Furious the musical. A Quiet Place the musical. Star Trek the musical. Hidden Figures the musical. Now that would be interesting. Sam's not interested in any musicals. That's fun. Kat wants all all movies to be musicals. Kenzie wants all the Marvel movies to be musicals. Amelia wants them all. The Princess Bride. That would be. How is there not a Princess Bride musical? Surely someone's done that. James says Knives Out the musical. That's pretty funny. Titanic. Isn't Titanic already kind of a musical, though? I mean, the only good part of that movie is the music. Terminator the musical. Can y'all can y'all see Arnold Schwarzenegger dancing around and singing a song as a fighting robot? That's hilarious. A Cinderella Story, the one with Hilary Duff, X-Men the musical, Up the musical, that would be good. There is a Titanic musical. Okay, well that's good to know. Captain Marvel the musical. Cat says down the musical. Okay, instead of up the musical. Well played. Oh man, Abby is throwing down. Holy cow. Maddie, Abby saying something controversial. Should she be thrown in the loony bin too? Horror movies as musicals. Now that would be interesting. Lord of the Rings, the musical. The Hunger Games. I told you we saved the best one for last. Oh man. No movies need to become musicals. So Ashley, Abby, and Kinsey are all in the same boat. Harry Potter the musical. That could be interesting. Maddie doesn't like The Princess Bride either. A B movie musical would be fun. Kate's trying to hijack the game. Stranger Things, a musical. Yeah, I'm not sure I can get on board with you there, Caterade. Godzilla the musical. That's good. Kirsten says my life should be a musical. There you go. That would be fun. Jurassic Park the musical. I like that one too. Brooklyn says Avengers Endgame. King Kong the musical. Oh, that's good. Oh, guys, y'all crack me up. Okay, hang on, guys. I got breaking news. A League of Their Own, the musical. I don't know. That's a pretty solid movie. I would be afraid to mess with that one too much. No, guys, I just got a text message from an administrator in the school system. Um, just said that Governor Abbott has declared that um, everyone's going to have to repeat your current grade in school because the school year's been so messed up. So I don't know. I'm just looking at this story. Again, this is from a school administrator. Men in Black the musical. I'd like that too. So just a heads up. Again, I told you not to keep. Very good. Although I'm curious how many of you fell on the floor at even the idea of having to repeat your current grade. I'm sure Abby, I don't Abby, you want to repeat your senior year? Yeah, I didn't think so, but it was worth asking. Yeah, Jack's not worried about it at all. Awesome, awesome. All right, guys, we got to get rolling, okay? If you got a Bible, open up to First John chapter 3. And you should have a Bible somewhere. Worst case scenario, all of you are on a screen, so flip open your Bible app, although I'm not sure if you're on a phone. I'm afraid you get kicked off if you flip back and forth. So, yeah, homeschool kids are uniting in awesome ways right now. First John chapter 3. So we've been reading First John for a couple of days. I hope you all have been doing that. Really hope you've been doing that. The book of First John is written by the same guy who wrote the book of Revelation. It's the same guy who wrote same guy who wrote Second and Third John as well. And it also is the same, he's the same John who wrote the Gospel of John. So this John the Revelator, he wrote 5 books of the New Testament, but he's not John the Baptist, John. And this is where things actually get kind of funny and easily confused. John the Baptist was Jesus's cousin, but he's not the John who's writing here. This is the John that Jesus sort of made his brother. Whenever Jesus died, one of the last things he said on the cross is he looked down at this particular John, who was the youngest of the disciples, and he said, "Hey, John, standing next to you right now is my mom. Take care of her for me." Which was interesting because when Jesus died, he already had younger brothers. As the oldest brother, it was his job to take care of his widowed mother. And so he was reminding his siblings, or what should have been his siblings, hey, take care of mom. But his siblings at the time were not believers. And so he looks at instead his disciple, John, and says, hey, take care of my mom for me. So in a very real way, John and Jesus were related. Certainly because of the blood of Jesus, they are related. But he's not John the Baptist, who was, in fact, Jesus's blood family. So anyway, that's the John that we're talking about. I wanted to read First John for a handful of reasons. But here's why John is relatable in this particular situation. John, when he wrote this book and the other 2 books and the book of Revelation, in all 4 occasions, he was not only under house arrest like Paul was, he was actually marooned on an island called Patmos. So he had kind of that stay-at-home order as well, government-enforced kind of a thing. In fact, it was even more extreme because he had a couple of people with him. He had at least one guy who was, we kind of call him his assistant. His name was Pontius, and I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. This was actually one of the original deacons in the church at Acts. And he was now helping John on his own island. Now, it wasn't his own island. There were Roman soldiers there taking care of him and keeping an eye on him. I would imagine there were other prisoners there as well. But we do know from church history that John apparently lived in a cave. And that's part of where he wrote the book of Revelation, as God gave him this revelation that we read earlier. Hopefully you were paying attention. We studied the book of Revelation on Wednesday nights. So he lived in a cave. You can go to that cave even to this day, which is kind of interesting. If you ever get the chance to go to Patmos, I would love to do that. I think that'd be kind of cool. Patmos was the result of a volcanic eruption. And so it's very rocky. At the time, there were very, very few trees. This was not the Hawaiian Islands. This was not the Tahitian Islands. This is not even like the Caribbean Islands. This was not a fun place to go and visit, and it certainly wasn't a fun place to be stuck in, which again, I suspect some of you may very well be feeling that even about your own homes now at this point. Like, I would rather go anywhere but here. Now, a few of you, it sounds like you're pretty chill and you're happy-go-lucky at home, and that's awesome. I'm somewhere in between. Now I get to come to work every day, and so that makes a difference for me. Miss Becca, she's ready to go pretty much anywhere except Walmart, because Walmart's still a little bit crazy. But beyond that, we're just kind of crawling the ceiling, right? So John's a little bit relatable in that instance, but also the stuff that John talks about. It's very black and white. Which, if you're a black and white person, you will love the book of First John and really all of John's writings, because he's just very matter of fact, sometimes almost to the point that it sort of scares you. I'm going to talk to a little bit of that. Yeah, he's very black and white. If you've been that. But also, he's just simplistic. John was a guy that didn't have a huge education like some of the other disciples did. Some of the other apostles did. In fact, most of the apostles didn't have a massive education. But John seems to be a fairly simplistic guy. So you don't catch this so much in English, but in the original language, in the Greek language, he writes very simplistic, very easy sentences. And so when you're learning Greek, biblical Greek, the book of John and the first and second and third John are usually the books you start with, because John's, I was going to call him the Dr. Seuss. No, he's not that he's rhyming. Think of another children's author that makes fairly simple but awesome books for little guys to read. Whoever wrote the book Good Night Moon, book to Anson at least 1,000 times when he was a little bitty guy, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. So yeah, think along those terms. This is how John wrote. So we're going to look at chapter 3. We're not going to look at the whole chapter, but I want to catch a couple of things here, and then I want y'all to keep studying on your own. And here's the other thing too, guys. As you're studying the book of First John, take some notes. Jot down the things that you're curious about, or questions that you have about it. If you want to share those questions with us, we would love to just go through those things with you. But I also just want you just to kind of proactively and progressively read the scriptures and really think what it is that you're reading, and literally ask God, whoever wrote the Gerald and Piggy books. That's funny. Margaret Rice Brown. There you go. Thank you, Kate. Margaret Rice Brown wrote Good Night Moon. Ask yourselves questions, and then ask Jesus as you're reading, Lord, like, I want to understand this. Will you help me to see what it is that you're trying to teach us here? That's so important. Okay. But yeah, dive into Mo Williams. There, yeah, Mo Williams. I remember some of his books too. Very good. So look at verse 1 of 1 John chapter 3. And then I said, we're not going to go over this real long today, guys. I was just excited about hanging out with y'all, but I do want to look at the scripture. So here we go. 1 John chapter 3, verse 1. See how very much our Father loves us, for he calls us his children, and that is what we are. But the people who belong to this world don't recognize that we are God's children because they don't know him. So think about that. This, like, right out the gate, if this were the only verse you read from 1 John, like the entire, and this is a great verse. There's better verses. You read some of my absolute favorite verses yesterday from 1 John chapter 2. First, the end of 1 John chapter 1 is so encouraging. But the very start of chapter 3 is super encouraging, because it says very, very clearly, Jesus loves us so much. And how can we know that he loves us so much? Because he calls us his kids. He calls us his kids. Now, right now, when you're cramped up in a house and people are threatening to kill each other, you might be thinking, just because I'm someone's kid doesn't make me feel very loved. But think about in the instance of adoption. And this is so beautiful, guys. Yes, God is the one who created you, and so he is your father by default in that sense. But because of the result of our sin and our rebellion against him, we rejected his fathership, and our sin separated us from him forever. But because of Jesus' work on the cross, and because of the forgiveness he offers us, we have now been adopted by him into his family, and that's a permanent, unbreakable, does not ever change bond. We were chosen by God. And that ought to make you feel incredibly loved. And the fact that he is very open about the fact that, hey, Sam's mine, Peyton's mine, Hannah's mine, Kat's mine, Ashlyn's mine, Jack is mine, Maddie's mine, Abby's mine, Amelia's mine. They are my kids. I love them. Sam is mine. They're mine. And no one can take them from me. They're my kids. We should feel that love in dramatic and awesome ways. And again, there's other stuff you're going to read in this book that should jump out at you about that. But the fact that he calls you his kid, encouraging and so good. Dear friends, verse 2, we are already God's children, but he has not yet shown us what we will be like when Christ appears. But we do know that we will be like him, for we will see him as he really is. Kind of interesting to think about. We talked about Jesus coming back in the book of Revelation, obviously. Yeah, like be encouraged by that. That's awesome. There's nothing better than that, y'all. That is the best news in the world. I belong to Jesus. When everything else falls apart, I still belong to Jesus. On my very, very, very worst day, I still belong to Jesus. That's good news, right? So think about this. He says, we don't know what we're going to be like when Jesus comes back for us, but we do know we're going to be like him. Now that seems kind of like, well, we know what Jesus was going to be like. Now, heads up, John wrote 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John before he wrote the book of Revelation. So he had not yet seen what Jesus is going to look like when he comes back to get us. In chapter 18 and 19, when Jesus is finally revealed in his totality, in his total way, John hadn't seen that yet. But John did walk with Jesus on earth. He knew Jesus better than most. In fact, remember, John, this is kind of fun. John was described as the disciple that Jesus loved, and he sort of took a little bit of pride in that. Man, if I was known as the disciple that Jesus loved, I would take some pride in that too. That's a pretty cool title, right? But he knew all too well what Jesus is like. And John knows, and hopefully we all know too, that Jesus' ultimate goal for us is not just for us to feel his love, but for us to continually become conformed and transformed into becoming like him. Become like Jesus, because there's nothing better. I suspect all of you have people that you look up to, or heroes, or people that you would like to emulate. Someone that's got a skill set that you really think is cool, and so you would love to be able to do those same things. I certainly have people like that. I did growing up, still do now. That's kind of normal. There's people that are just better at stuff than we are, and so we want to be like them. The really, really ambitious part of our hearts actually want to surpass that person that we look up to. And if I was a basketball player, no, not only do I want to shoot a basketball like Steph Curry, but I want to be an even better shooter than Steph Curry is. Right? That's a normal human response. Not only do I want to be a great actor, I want to be a better actor than, gosh, I don't know, Matthew McConaughey is. That's the first one that came to mind, right? Whoever it is your favorite actor or actress is, or your favorite musician is, or your favorite chef on Top Chef, or just fill in the blank. The things that you are interested in, that you are aspiring to. Maybe you just want to be a really, really great doctor. And so there's doctors you look up to, which is a phenomenal, phenomenal goal. We want to be like those people, right? Jack wants to be like the Terminator. Okay. Maddie, this is where you chime in and all right, all right, all right. That's right. Maddie, you need to chime in for Jackson here now and give your diagnosis, because he wants to be the Terminator. We want to be like those people because they're awesome. Guys, ultimately, we as believers, we want to be like Christ because he's beyond awesome. There is no better, there is no greater. And so his highest ambition for us is to become like him. So our highest ambition should want to become like him too. And so John just says, hey, when Jesus comes back, we don't know what we're going to be like. Like, we don't know all the details. We don't know how it's all going to go down. That is pretty lit. But we do know we are going to be like Jesus. And that's phenomenal. That's absolutely phenomenal. I'm excited about that. Like, I just think about all the things that you struggle with and all the ways that, like, you try to do the right thing and you just fail. Or you just fail, period, right? All the things that Jesus doesn't do. Because of his work in our lives and because of how he's going to transform us when he comes back to get us, we're going to be like him. That's a cool thought. So keep reading. Verse 3. And all who have this eager expectation will keep themselves pure, just as he is pure. Thanks, Kat. I'm going to keep preaching it for sure. So he just says, hey, if we're supposed to be like Jesus, then our motivation right now should be, okay, like, if I'm going to be like Jesus someday, I want to start being like Jesus as much as possible right now. This is my my goal in life. Like, I want to be pure as Christ is pure. Now, Jesus is the one that makes us pure. And you got to know that, guys, as you're reading this book, again, when you get into a lot of the black and white stuff, you've got to remember Jesus is the one that helps us accomplish the things that John says we're supposed to be doing as believers. And Jesus is the one who forgives us of the things that we fail, that John says that unbelievers do, right? So keep that in mind in this whole process. But he says, our goal is to be pure as Jesus is pure. And so we're all actively working to live our lives in a pure way because we want to be like Jesus. Jump down to verse 11. All right, we're going to skip a little bit here. Not that 4 through 10 not important, but I want to jump into verse 11 though, because there's some cool stuff here, okay? It says, this is the message you've heard from the beginning. We should love one another. We must not be like Cain, who belonged to the evil one and killed his brother. And why did he kill him? Because Cain had been doing what was righteous. Now, I'm not picking on anyone who said, I'm ready to kill my siblings. This is purely like I told you yesterday, I told you days ago, we're going to be looking at 1 John chapter 3. So if you're thinking, okay, me even threatening to kill my brother makes me kind of like Cain. Kind of. Actually, it just makes you human. All right? Now, we don't just lay in our humanity and go, oh, I'm just human. I guess I'll go kill him. We recognize our humanity, and in our humanity, we beg Jesus, Lord, please, please, please help me love my brother. Help me love my sister, whether they're older than you or younger than you. By the way, works the same way with your parents. Lord, help me to love and respect my parents. Lord, help me to respect and obey my parents, because that doesn't come natural either, does it? There's a part of our hearts that are constantly kicking and screaming and fighting and wanting to do our own thing. That's the humanity in us. That's the enemy that's at work within us, fighting all the time, trying to get us to turn away from God and do our own things, trying to get us ultimately to destroy ourselves. Jesus says this, hey, one of the ways that you can know you belong to me, and one of the ways that you can, and I love the prove it thing. I didn't come up with this graphic, but it's really, 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 really helpful. One of the ways that we prove that we belong to Jesus is the fact that we love each other. Now, our love is not perfect. That's, by the way, that love each other. That's how you and I love each other. That's how y'all love each other. And yes, that's how you love your family and love other people, including, remember, Jesus taught us to love our enemies. So like that each other thing, that's a whole lot of everybody's. So the fact that we love is one of the ways that we prove that we belong to Jesus, but that does not come natural to us. We have to learn to love from Jesus. This is why we want to become like him, because Jesus was the ultimate lover. He knew how to do it better than anyone else, because we know the scriptures tell us, actually, we're going to see this tomorrow in 1 John, that God is love. This is why he's so good at love. It's not just a skill that he had in his pocket. He is the epitome of love. He's the concept of love. Love is not God. God is love. Like, love is where God is, where love comes from. That's what I'm trying to say. So it says, love each other. This is one of the ways that you prove that you belong to me. Then he talks about Cain and Abel. He says, we must not be like Cain, who belonged to the evil one and killed his brother. Why did he kill him? Because Cain had been doing what was evil, and his brother had been doing what was righteous. So we make a big deal about Cain and Abel. And when Cain and Abel brought their offerings, you remember that story? It's all the way back in Genesis, the first set of brothers, right? And you think about this, the first siblings on earth fought so much that one of them eventually killed the other one. Remember what I said about that? That's just part of our humanity, why we fight with our siblings. This is not a new problem. But Cain ended up killing Abel because of the fact that God had rejected Cain's offering and instead accepted Abel's. And sometimes we make a big deal about the fact that Abel brought meat and Cain brought vegetables, and that was the problem. But that's not the problem. And the reason why I say that, it's actually pretty simple. If you continue reading on to the Old Testament, there were times when God told them to bring vegetables and produce and even like wheat and barley and that kind of things as gifts and offerings. So it wasn't the fact that he was offering what he had. There's a little bit in the language that implies that Abel brought his very best and Cain just kind of brought whatever. But John actually takes it a step further. He just says, man, Cain had habitually been rebelling against God. This wasn't like the first time that Cain had ever sinned and he got mad, he got called on it, so he killed his brother. This was his MO. Abel was someone that was continually seeking to please God. Cain was someone that was continually rebelling against God, and that led to him ultimately killing his brother. Guys, I'm going to say this just really, really simple because some of you are thinking, well, okay, I don't think I'd ever actually kill my brother or sister. And chances are really good you won't. But if you continue to live on a course where you just reject God and the things that he's taught us to do time after time after time, what you're doing is, number one, you're searing your conscience so that the things that should bother you don't bother you anymore. But as you continue to stretch and pull away from God, the more that you do that, the farther and farther you get away with him, and the more that you are apt to do that you probably wouldn't have not to used to do. Let me give you an example. If you have one or two favorite cuss words, but there's a whole bunch of other cuss words that you don't do because those are the really bad ones. So you just cuss words, but not the really, really bad ones. Even though we know that like no unwholesome speech is supposed to come out of our mouths, right? Which that, by the way, specifically, that's in relation to how we speak about other people. So I just have a handful of kind of negative things that I say, but I don't use those words because those are really, really bad. Well, I promise you, because this is our nature, if we continue to rebel against God, even in little ways, just using phrases that we know aren't good, but they're not as bad as the other ones, eventually you will start to use those other bad ones because sin is always progressive. It always leads to the next sin. It grows in us. This is why when God came to Cain and said, hey, Cain, you need to repent because sin is crouching at your door, seeking to overtake you. God was warning him, saying, hey, dude, like you're making some mistakes here, but it's going to get a lot worse if you don't repent. And by the way, in the entire process, God was willing to let Cain repent and willing to forgive. He's always been the same. So diligently strive to love each other, even when you don't feel like it. Seek to obey God in those ways. Because when we rebel, even a little bitty ways, guys, again, sin is always progressive. It's going to lead you farther down the road than you want to go, I promise. And that, my beloveds, is where I'm going to stop today. Because we've already been together for a little bit over an hour, and it's been awesome, and I love it. But I want to leave a whole bunch of 1 John chapter 3 for you to read through as well. Study it, guys. And if you've got some questions, man, shoot those to me. Take some time to actually read it and diagram it and think about it and compare it, by the way, to chapter 2 and chapter 1, because there's some things that John says in chapter 1 and chapter 2 that make chapter 3 make a lot more sense. And by the way, that's going to be true in chapter 4 and chapter 5 as well. But one of the things that even I want you to do this all the time, but even more so now when we can't be together all the time, is I want you guys to learn how to more and more and more. I want you to learn how to study the scriptures on your own. And that doesn't mean I'm going to stop teaching you. I'm always going to teach you. That's my job, and I love to do that. And by the way, your parents, that's their job too, and they love to do that. And your connection group leaders love to do that too. Part of the way that we grow is we do pass on information that we have. But the other way that you grow is that you guys on your own are digging into the scriptures and asking questions and thinking about things. And so I want you to do that. That's my challenge for you today is I'm going to pray here a little bit, and then we're going to sign off. I want y'all to spend some time on your own just reading the rest of the chapter. Again, if you've got some questions, then by all means, shoot those to me. But in the meantime, no kidding, continue to serve like we talked about earlier. But if there's any commandment, and if you read the rest of the chapter, you'll catch this. If there's any commandment that we're supposed to be following and following well, it's this one about loving each other. So keep loving each other. Love each other well. Listen well. When you get frustrated with each other, beg Jesus, beg him to help you to love despite how you feel. By the way, at the end of the chapter, Jesus actually makes a point to bring up something about our feelings and how he's greater than our feelings. Specifically, if you read it in the New Living Translation, but some of your other Bibles will use the word feelings there too. That's pretty important. but love each other well and beg God to help you to continue to love each other despite the fact that you want to kill each other sometimes. Let me pray. Lord Jesus, um, God, thank you so much for this avenue for us to hang out together. God, I'm so grateful for everyone that's jumped on and for parents that are on board too. That's so cool. Little brothers and sisters listening loud. Lord, I love the whole thing. God, I praise you for this opportunity. Father, would you please teach us to learn from the scriptures? Father, your spirit, I pray that you would do exactly what you promised, that you would teach us from your word. Holy Spirit, you give us understanding into these words. Lord, and then help us to obey. You've called us to live lives that are very different than people who don't know you. And we're so grateful for the fact that you call us your kids. You've adopted us. You've made us your own. And that's a beautiful thing, Lord Jesus. Thank you for that. Help us to celebrate that by joyfully obeying you, even when it's hard. And thank you for being willing to help us to do that. God, I love you, and I love every single student on this computer and all those that we haven't got to meet with together yet either. Help us, Father, please. Continue to provide for us and protect us. It's in your name we pray. Amen. Hey, guys, last thing. Um, if there is anything that you want Kate and I and Will and your connection group leaders too, specifically to be praying about, please share those with us. We would love to pray with you about stuff. Um, I was joking about feeling antsy at home. I'm feeling antsy at home for sure, but even more so, I'm feeling antsy just because I haven't got to hang out with y'all. And so if there's stuff going on in your life that you need prayer about, man, shoot those to us. And if you're just bored and you want to talk, and I'm game with that too. All right. I love y'all so much. And I'm so thankful that we got to hang out some this afternoon. So, you know what you're supposed to do. Go jump into the scriptures, read that. And if you got any stuff, let me know. All right. Thank you for that clarification, Maddie. That's important. Maddie would not actually throw anyone in the loony bin. That's good to know. A loony bin is actually, we probably shouldn't use that phrase. It's not very nice. It's a mental health hospital where people who um, go and they can't quite take care of themselves, or for people that are genuinely crazy. So, yeah, we shall meet again for sure. You're welcome, guys. All right, my dudes, I love you. Love each other. We'll see you later. All right.